What if this turns out to be just a terrible time to retire, but you've been planning on it, or you've been hoping, or you just retired? What should you do? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, saw this article just recently from Morningstar, fantastic investment research company, but as a certified financial planner who does comprehensive financial planning, sometimes they will post articles about financial planning concepts and try to answer them. And listen, Morningstar is a fantastic investment research tool and service. They don't do financial planning. And so this is one where, again, I would point to and say, that's investment professional, not comprehensive financial planning. But love the idea, and I read through the article. I didn't think it was very helpful from a financial planning perspective. What if you're looking to retire right now, and it turns out this is just a terrible time to retire? Going back and looking in hindsight, that, wait a second, I wasn't expecting that we'd be on the cusp of a bear market and a huge economic downturn. You know, we've had some major CEOs of financial institutions, Jamie Dimon, and I can't remember who the individual was from Goldman Sachs, I believe, who have basically come out and said, listen, there are some economic storm clouds being created right now that are frightening. And so what if all this is happening when you're about to make the biggest financial decision of your life and the biggest financial transition of your life as well, and that is moving away from your steady paycheck into retirement? What if this turns out to be a terrible time? Do you just not retire? Do you go back to work? What do you do? Well, going through the comprehensive financial planning process, as we're working with clients to gather all their information and make sure it's all organized and structured, and then use that accurate information to build plans and projections about the life that they envision and the choices, the transitions they want to make, we then take a look and say, well, based on these 5 factors and all of these goals and wishes, do you have enough confidence to retire at this point in time or at that stated time? Are you able to retire with confidence? And based on that discussion and that analysis, it leads to, yeah, you should be extremely confident, or you know what, you're going to need to, it's cautious right now, it's yellow or whatever, or no, you're not on track, okay? When it's yellow or you're not on track, that's when we need to discuss what trade-offs that you should make. And right now, you may have been doing that planning work with your certified financial planner, and through your Monte Carlo analysis, statistical regression analysis, you might have looked and like, okay, I can probably retire. I'm ready to make this adjustment. And then all of a sudden, as the market's dropped, your confidence rate has moved below where you wanted it to be. That if you retire, you would be doing so with less confidence. To us, we talk about the trade-offs with our clients. Let me take you back to last time. Financially, things were just awful. And I'm not talking about the flash in the pan of the pandemic. I feel like that flash in the pan is going to kind of rear its ugly head here as we see what economic storms are created. But let's go back to 2008. The planning work that we did with clients leading up to 2008 gave a lot of clarity for clients as to, all right, I'm planning on retiring at this time, being able to spend this much. Here's what I'll do with Social Security. Here's what I'll do for health insurance, and I'm on track. And then all of a sudden, 2008 hit, and it got, the markets got bad, and then they got really bad, and then it got worse than that, okay? And so folks would come in for our financial planning meetings. Of course, we'd spend a lot of time talking about investment strategy, but you're investing for a purpose. And so as we talk about their goals, they would say, well, I guess that retirement goal is out the window. We heard that all the time. And in truth, the conversation sounded like this. Well, if the markets don't recover, originally we've been planning that the markets would pull back, and we've stress tested your financial plan, your retirement plan. So you should still be have confidence that you're able to retire when you want to. But if markets don't recover the way that they've done in the past, then what trade-offs would you be willing to make? And this is how the example went. You were originally hoping to retire at 65. Would you be willing to work until 67? Yeah, I think I could do that. Well, then you're back on track if the markets don't recover. You originally were wanting to spend $6,000 a month, and this was, back in 2008. So originally wanted to spend $6,000 a month and retire at 65. Could you retire at 65 but only spend $5,000 a month? Yeah, I think I could do that. Well, if the markets don't recover, that's something that you could do. So it's those sorts of trade-offs that your certified financial planner is going to help coach you through and talk you through, not to say you should do this, but basically present those options and those choices so that if this is a unusual market and it doesn't recover, if things get go from bad to worse to even worse than that, and they don't recover, well, what adjustments, what trade-offs do you need to make to your plan? I hit the most common ones in that example. What are the most common? Well, number one is you can work longer, okay? You can delay retirement. Even delaying retirement 1 year or 2 years makes an enormous difference. Why? Because it's 1 or 2 more years that you're building up your retirement nest egg as opposed to depleting it. It's 1 or 2 more years for you to get closer to Medicare. 1 or 2 more years for your Social Security to grow that much more, right? So delaying retirement even 1 or 2 years is extremely powerful. And again, drawing back to 2008, 2009, most people, it was revealed to them at that time that, I guess, I'm not going to be able to retire, when I thought, well, would you be willing to work an extra 18 months? Yeah, that's no problem. Well, sure, then you're back on track. The power of delaying retirement, even just a year or two, is significant. So that may be one adjustment that you could make. Second, you could find another source for retirement income. You might say, well, I need to retire from my career, or maybe these storm clouds are brewing, something where you're going to be let go, or you're going to have a package to transition away from work into retirement. Well, could you get a part-time job? And I know it's a lot more difficult to get a part-time job than what you might think in retirement, but my goodness, during this economic environment and this labor shortage, now should be the best time ever for pre-retirees or early retirees to be able to get a part-time job. So finding some sort of part-time income, something like that, to supplement the early stages of retirement, that's a second trade-off that you could make. Third, as I already mentioned in the example, is you could reduce your spending. That's tricky right now because we've got a force that's outside of your control pushing expenses even higher. It's not, I saw recently that there's some gas stations in California over $8 a gallon. That was, there's lots of things that influence that. No one had direct control over that. No one would want that, and you don't have control over that as well. So you've got inflationary and pricing pressures right now that aren't in your control. But another option is, well, all along I've been planning on spending this much in retirement. I'd expect that we'd go on a big family trip every year. I'd get a new vehicle every 5 years. I would do certain things. And you know what? I'm going to update my budget. I think I can spend less in retirement if the market doesn't come back. And if it does, then I can ratchet up my spending then. That's a fantastic trade-off to do. That's something that's in your control. You can choose to spend a little bit less or not do certain things to help you retire still at a certain time. That's one of the trade-offs that you can make. And then finally, depending on how close you are to retirement, obviously the further out you are from retirement, this one makes more of an impact, but you can choose to save more. Say you're 55 and you've been planning on retiring at 62 and you've been on track, and all of a sudden the market drop that we've seen really since October of 2021, you look now and it's, oh my goodness, my plan doesn't really work. Well, could you save more? Could you, instead of contributing 12% to your 401k, could you max it out? Could you contribute 18%? Could you do 20%? And does that put you back on track? That'd be another trade-off that you could make to help bolster your retirement confidence at a time when the market hasn't provided the returns that we would have hoped. The big idea, again, is that 5-factor retirement plan. That's what gives you the clarity on what adjustments that you need to make and the confidence that you can retire with confidence when you want to and not have to worry about, well, will I need to go back to work, or will this whole plan fall apart? Will I run out of money before I run out of breath? Ideally, you want to have a confident retirement, and that 5-factor retirement plan allows you to do that. Work with your certified financial planner on that process. Now is the time when you're going to want to update that. Go through those assumptions with your certified financial planner, probably twice a year, at least once a year. Depends how close you are to retirement, just based on how much change that we've seen. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP that's helping you with that type of planning, you can always contact our office and the CFP on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.